Tweet it out. We are live. Hey, how about you, everybody? Welcome into this week's episode of the Auburn Live Recruiting Call-In Show, where we're going to try our best to do to answer your questions, to address your comments. But first, my name is Jeffrey Lee. I'm your host, senior recruiting editor for Auburn Live on 3. And I am joined, as I always am, on my two biggest cohorts, and Cole Pinkston, Mr. Jhead. Mr. Jhead, how the hell are you, big dog?
I am doing fantastic, brother. Just got back from the swamp the other day down there in Louisiana. Some people thought I was getting hidden practice footage of Corey Moore from his days at LSU. Turned out my actual job just needed me to handle a couple of things before I could get back. So glad to be here with you guys to talk football tonight. A lot to talk about for sure.
How were the Skeeters down there?
Brother, they were big.
Really?
They were, listen, some legit bloodsuckers, man.
Yeah.
I mean, one of them was like the size of my finger, dude. I kid you not. And it had itself attached to my neck while we're out there on the Mississippi. So it was something you don't want to play with.
We had them up in Alaska. Their bodies were the size of houseflies.
Oof.
I mean, it was bad. It was bad. Cole Pinkston, look at you, big dog. How you doing?
Man, I am doing good. Ready to get back to it.
You look 5 years older.
Doesn't he?
You had a long day, Cole?
Big Cat weekend and fall camp, it'll age you a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
I do. Why do you think I look 65? Hey, so we didn't have a show last week. We were all running around with our heads cut off, or like our heads were cut off. But since our last show, Auburn has had some huge additions, huge commitments. 2 4-star edge players in Wilkie Denard, Ashley Williams. Is that the only 2? J.C. Hart is coming up Friday, I do believe.
Yeah.
But man, we've talked about how important that edge position is in this class, you've missed on a couple of guys already. You're kind of in the back seat for some others, and then here comes Auburn out of nowhere for Wilkie Denard. And then you flip Ashley Williams 3 days after Big Cat. Jhead, what were your thoughts on those 2 guys?
Just extremely important, Jeffrey. I mean, when you're taking a class as large as we are, and you're talking 4 to 5 edge players in this class, you had to get some baseline talent. And when I say baseline talent, these are blue chip 4-star guys. I know people are, they want to see the Quay Russoffs and the but if this is the bottom of what you're taking in this class, these are really good players, high upside players, guys that can fit in multiple roles for you, specifically Denard that could grow into a defensive end, a 5 tech, and play that Kobe Wooden position, or somebody that could stand up on the edge.
Yeah.
Or like Leota. I mean, I see both of those with him. It just really depends on the way his body develops once he gets into college. And then Ashley Williams is that stand-up Derek Hall pass rusher. I already made a comparison to Quentin Grosem. I love the length and the first step. Now, I don't know that he has the bend just yet that Quentin had, but he's got that kind of package. He's got that kind of upside. You're going to have to develop him, but he could be a double-digit sack guy for you in the SEC in the future. 100%.
Cole, I know you like these 2 guys as well.
Yeah, man, it was just so important getting edge players in. It's just like the offensive line. That's the next biggest position of need was edge, and you need different kind of edges. You don't just need a pass rusher. You need, like Jhead was saying, a guy that's more of a run edge setter to go along with a pass rusher, and that's what they got. Denard's more of your edge setter, and then you have Williams as more of your pass rusher. And Denard's a little bit bigger than Williams right now. Williams is a little skinny, but that's just how a lot of edges are. That's how the most edges are now, because you take the frame, you don't take the current weight. So seeing Ashley, he was a little bit skinnier than I thought, but man, his get off on tape is excellent.
Yeah,
and got that 6'4" frame. It's hard to find. So
I think he was listed at 6'4", 215, maybe.
Yeah, that's about right. 215 on his frame is very skinny, right? He's got to get up above 230 to be able to play at Auburn.
Yeah,
I would think.
Did he remind you on the hoof of like Dylan Brooks? Dylan Brooks to me looked too lean. Like this might have been in the spring when I looked at him and I thought, man,
yeah,
he's like a Ticonderoga out there.
Seeing him in practice the past couple of days, I mean, he's definitely besides Joko Willis, who just started with the edge group. Brooks is the skinniest guy out there, but he serves a different role than Leota and Derek Hall do. Leota and Hall are more do-it-all guys now that they're up to the 260 range. So you have a guy like Brooks that can come in on a pass rush situation and bend the edge. And that's why they need the variety in the edge group.
Well, see that Denard and Ashley Williams gives Auburn 6 commitments, if I'm not mistaken. Carmelo English, Jeremiah Cobb, Terrence Love, Wilkie, Ashley, and Braden Joyner. 6 commitments right now. Good enough for 46th in the country, 12th in the SEC. Of course, we don't expect them to stay there for the duality of the recruiting cycle. We're expecting just Jacorius Hart, the 3-star defensive back from Lochapoka, to announce. I know he hasn't officially announced it, but Caldwell had it up the other day. The kid didn't want it out there yet, but he's going to announce Friday, I think around 5 p.m. Auburn, UCF, pretty much the final 2. He's one of those guys, to me, that you want to take in this class. I think he's got a lot of upside, and to me, he's one of those guys that you don't take, and then he goes to UCF and he's a second-team All-American or some shit,
Yeah.
I agree, Jeffrey. I think the thing that I really love about JC's game is the versatility. I see a guy that could be a 3-position player for you in the secondary. He could play corner, he could play safety, he could play nickel. He's got that kind of skill set. Now, I don't know what he's going to develop into, but what he reminds me of in high school, when you put on his tape, he looks a lot like Rudy Ford at that same stage, but a little bit taller. Same straight line speed, and when Muschamp put him in the nickel, that completely unlocked everything. So I'll be interested to see how he develops. But, yeah, I agree. Somebody you definitely want, Jeffrey.
Let's see. Some other news while we were during our hiatus was, well, let's see. Big Cat came in. We saw both. Usually we saw Jelani Thurman. We also went on visit. Didn't expect there's some rumblings there. I was last week kind of chasing it down myself. We heard some rumblings, but nothing ever materialized. I really don't expect him to. I think Jhead, you said on the corner today, you really didn't see that happening either.
No.
And Connor Liu committed to
Miami,
which was that one stung. I feel like Auburn the week before was the pick. I really do. And Miami made some last minute pulls, man, and good for them as far as I know. Can't really fault them for that, but ended up getting Connor Liu, and then Joshua Horton has announced that he is going to announce, I think, next week. And North Carolina is my pick, and don't really see Auburn making a late jump before he announces it. At least we'll see what they can do during the season with all these guys. But Zach, you coming in here for a reason, big dog?
Yeah, we got a caller here. 770, you're live. Who are we talking to? Where are you from? Oh, hang on. Seven zero. You're live.
Yeah.
Okay,
hey,
we got
good
you
evening,
now.
guys. This is Against the Spread.
Hey, what's up, man?
How's it going, man?
How y'all doing tonight?
Very good, very good.
All right. My question for you guys is, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much prepared do I need to be for Harsin to potentially name TJ Finley the starting quarterback for Auburn in Game 1?
4.5, 4. What do you think, Jhead?
I think it's too early to truly say, because until the scrimmages play, until you start to have some scrimmages, that's where the separation is going to occur. ATS. I think anything right now would be premature to really say or speculate. But I said before camp even started, my expectation was going to be Zach Calzada. I still, even though I know that there have been some reports out there that he's been a little inaccurate at times, I still expect Zach Calzada to separate himself when the bullets start to become live and we get in those scrimmage situations. So that's kind of where my thought process is.
ATS, what's up, big dog?
Oh man, just enjoying the show, man. How's Alaska?
It was fantastic. Caught a lot of fish, man. Saw some cool stuff. It was really good. It was good stuff. It was a long way away. And, Jessica and I both have kids that were back here, so we were like a continent away, 3 hours time zone. Big Cat was going on. So it was a little hectic, but we had a really good time, man. It was definitely a life-changing experience. You were asking about how prepared do you need to be for TJ Finley? Is that basically what you were saying? I was messing with my life. Dude.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Jhead. Dude, no, man, you good. I mean, listen, this is just me, dude. Hey, he's running with the ones, and he should be. I mean, that's how it does. That's how it goes, right? Calzada, if you want it, you got to take it.
Correct.
It is TJ Finley's right now.
Correct.
So I would agree with you, but then I also saw an opportunity this week with the news of his arrest for Harsin to have a very easy reason to make that switch if he wanted to do it right now, right?
Nah, that's bullshit, man. That arrest was bullshit, man. I've done more illegal today than TJ did that day.
It doesn't look like from being at practice and all those things that anything's different with him. He's going through everything just like everybody else. So I don't think anything comes of that. And I was in there today when Harsin spoke to the media, and he said nobody's really separated themselves yet. And I think he was being genuine about that. So
yeah.
I still think Calzada.
I can sense that the fan base is already mentally placing Calzada in this upper tier of the SEC quarterbacks already. It feels like everyone's kind of looking at him as he's the savior. But one rough half against Mercer, and people will be screaming for Finley to get back out there probably.
I think they'd be screaming for Robbie Ashford, brother. If I'm pegging,
I do agree.
I don't think you're going to hear a whole lot other than maybe TJ's family cheering for TJ to get in the game. And I'm not trying to be rude. I think TJ has done as good a job as he possibly can to this point. He's said all the right things. He's done all the right things. And once again, ATS, when we get into scrimmage situations and we hear some reports from that, when Jeffrey and Cole and Justin start to report out on, okay, this is exactly what happened when the bullets are live, well, then we can probably start to make a better determination of what to expect.
Yeah, and keep in mind, too, everything going on right now are not really scrimmage situations. It's drills. Yep. It's, fast paced. We're calling plays, trying to get the repetition of our plays down and things of that nature. So, I wouldn't put too much stock in the fact that nobody's really pulled away yet. I mean, that's just part of camp. Yeah. You're just trying to get things.
Well, thank you for talking me off the ledge on that. That's good. I do have one more question for you. Camden Brown, do you think he's got a chance to be a somewhat of a big time contributor this year? And if so, I think about some of the freshman receivers who've made an impact at Auburn, and the list is pretty short, I think. I think Seth Williams probably the best one in recent memory. Just wondering, what do you think about Camden Brown's chances of making, somewhat of not a similar impact as Seth's freshman year, but something approaching that given the opportunity there at wide receiver?
Big time contributor, contributor, absolutely. I think so.
Probably one of those guys where you see his role increase as the season goes on.
Yeah.
Jhead, what do you think?
Yeah. I agree. And I think where you probably are going to see him, because look, the competition is stiff at the outside with Jhead, with Capers. Capers has really come on. And I think Harsin said that today in his press conference with some of the nuances of being able to play wide receiver, Coy Moore. So can Camden Brown become that fourth wide receiver? Can he become that red zone threat we did not have last year, that big body that can go make plays in phase? You know what I mean? I think that's a role that he can 100% carve out. Probably 200-300-yard receiver this year. I think that's doable.
Be a good year, yeah. Good year for a freshman in the SEC.
Hey, ATS, we appreciate you, big dog.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
You too, man.
All right, we got one more caller here.
Smile there.
Well, I was reading Andrew Lowe's in the comments. He said, Jay Lee, did you get yourself a single berry or two back there, big dog?
Okay. You're live. Who are we talking to? Where are you calling from?
My name is Brandon. I'm calling from Harrytown, Alabama.
What's up, Brandon?
Brandon. How old are you, Brandon?
My question, I only have one question. My question is, if the season started today, who would be the starters in the secondary? with all the grand transfers and stuff like that.
Brandon, what year did you graduate?
18.
Oh hell, you're just a pup.
Yeah, I called about a month ago and you said
I remember you.
Lineman whooping us.
Yeah, minor big dog.
I can answer
Tigers.
the question off the top of my head right now. I just thumbed through it, bro. So I'm going to go with, at the field side, I'm going to go with Pritchett. At the boundary corner, I'm going to go with Simp. At the field safety, I'm going to go with Puckett. At the boundary safety, I'm going to roll with McDonald. I think that he's actually going to come up and surprise people by the end of camp. And then obviously the nickel, I'm running with Donovan Kaufman. I think that's going to be your starting group by the time the season kicks off.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about Keontae Scott?
Love him.
He's a lot of guys commented on him today saying he has come in, and even though he's come in late, man, he is making plays out there. And I was watching him in drills. He's real fluid, real good in his breaks and things of that nature.
How many years of eligibility does that guy have?
I think he's got 3, right?
I think he does too. I'll look that up, but I believe several of those guys that came in were coming in with 3 because of the COVID year.
Yeah.
You're right, Joe. It's 3 to play 3 for him. I'm pretty sure him and Imba were both 3 to play 3.
And Gilbert too, I think.
Is it? I didn't know if Gilbert had 3 or not.
A lot of high expectations for him, Brandon. I know he didn't get here. I think he got here while I was gone, but
Yeah.
Just from what little I know, man, he looked like a really good one-on-one press coverage guy. And
I'll tell you
you
what,
know more about it than I do.
Yeah, we got to see like 4 snaps of wide receiver DB one-on-ones. That's kind of when they run us out of there. They're like, we don't want y'all to see that. But it was Camden Brown going against Keontae Scott, and I watched Camden Brown twice, and he knocked people off. You know, when they were trying to jam him, he was knocking them down. But Keontae Scott manned him up, man. He jammed him right back, and I was like, okay. He brought it too. I was like, interesting. So that's just one observation, 1 rep, but
yeah. I mean, that's all that's all I was asking. I just wanted to see what the secondary was like because we had so many DBs. What hate to happen is we would come up with the starters and guys would start to transfer. Guys like A.D. Diamond, I don't know if he can make his way into the line, but I haven't seen him play.
Yep. I'll tell you what, Jhead, I like your prediction. I think that McDonald is very likely to start, but I also think that Caden Bridges is very likely to start.
Listen,
It's
and
not
that's
sure between those two.
No, I agree, Cole. I mean, everything you hear about Caden, and the only reason I'm giving the edge to McDonald is because of the game experience right now. Now, if you're talking about who's going to be the starter by the end of the season, I think Caden Bridges is one of those kind of guys that's just going to get better and better and better. You're talking about a multi-sport athlete that primarily played baseball up until I think his last 2 years of high school.
Outfielder.
So he's still learning and developing, right? And from what you guys reported and what I've heard behind the scenes, that he's coming 100%.
Mm-hmm.
I think Justice told me today he had some reps with ones.
Yeah.
I mean, again, during drills.
Right.
Brandon, good stuff, big dog. We appreciate you calling in, man.
Appreciate you guys taking my quiz.
You got it, man. I'll meet you at the Piggly Wiggly Friday night at 6 o'clock.
All right.
All right, big dog. Oh, man.
One more caller here, but I do want to give a shout out to Daryl. Someone called Jason Jones a mini Derek Brown, and he said he doesn't think Jason Jones is mini anything.
Good point.
Mini fridge.
Yeah.
That dude's imposing.
Yeah, he is.
850, you're live. Who we talking to? Where are you calling from?
T-Claus from the On3 Forum. How you doing, boys?
What's up?
What's up, buddy?
Who?
I'm calling from Emerald Coast here, Mobile area. But no, I had a question I want to run by you guys. I want to know what you think would be the more important victory let's just play a hypothetical game here.
Ooh.
Mhm.
What is the more important victory for 2023 and 2024 football recruiting? Is it Georgia or Alabama? Because we're in a lot of the same races with them over top talent athletes. I mean, if you look at 2024, you got Daniel Calhoun, Kavion Henderson, DeMarcus Riddick. I just wanted you guys' opinions on that.
We'll start with you, Jhead. It's a damn good question. Hey, what was his
Yeah, it
name?
is.
It is.
What was his name, Zach? Did you catch his name? Something Claus.
Say your name one more time.
T-Claws. Tiger Claws.
Tiger Claws.
3 for him.
All right,
Tiger.
TC. So my answer is this, and I'm going to give you an actual answer, and I'm going to give you probably a non-answer to begin with. But most recruits do not care about individual games. Honestly, it is about the collective. Are you putting a winning product on the field? Are you getting to double-digit wins? Are you looking competitive when you play? I think sometimes when it boils down to it, that appearance of stability is what is most important, knowing that that coach that can develop you is going to be there the next season. That is what's most important when it pertains to recruiting as far as winning and losing. Now, as it goes to individual matchups, look, nothing, and I love the Auburn-Georgia game, but nothing is as hype as an Iron Bowl, okay? There's no atmosphere like it. If you punch your ticket in that game, especially if it's in Jordan-Hare, it can be magic for recruiting. It honestly can be. I firmly believe that.
No, they're not here this year, right?
Now, they're in Tuscaloosa,
Okay.
which it would make me feel even better to be able to shove Nick Saban in the locker in his own stadium. But,
Ow!
I mean, I ain't predicting that's happening. But, you know what I mean? For us to get a W in Tuscaloosa and Bryant-Denny would speak volumes about where this program is.
Cole, 23 recruiting class, 24 recruiting class. What's the bigger win that's going to help recruiting?
Man,
At Georgia or at Alabama?
I'm sitting here thinking I don't know. I mean, either one of them would be.
I agree.
And the reason I say that is because if we're talking about, you know, the only thing left you can do is prove that you can win and win these big games, then a win in either one of those would be huge. It would be monumental for recruiting because the whole you know, just watch thing that we've been hearing would come true then. Okay, we got you.
Now, I'll
You
say
made
this.
your point.
Think about the timing, though, of when the Iron Bowl is by comparison to where the Auburn-Georgia game is right now.
Signing day.
You're talking about end of season trajectory. You're going out on a high note, and that's what the last thing those recruits remember. So that's my last sell point for the Iron Bowl.
I'm going Alabama. To me, I understand. You beat Alabama at Alabama, and you know that place is going to be full of in-state recruits from the 22. What is this class? The 23 class. And then you got the 24. All those cats are going to be there. You've already got James Smith and Quay Rusall saying, "What's it going to take to be at Auburn? Beat Alabama. I want to see them beat Alabama."
That's right. That's right.
You beat Alabama in Tuscaloosa on Thanksgiving. What, 3 weeks from signing day?
Yeah.
Woo!
That's a
And,
good point.
and you're probably, if you're that good, you're probably playing in Atlanta the next weekend.
Yes.
Yep. That one usually. I mean, if Auburn wins that game, that usually means they're going to Atlanta, right?
So you got a bunch of momentum. I'm Tiger Claws. I'm going. I mean, I think it's not like there's a wrong answer here.
No.
There's not a wrong answer, but with the timing, with the momentum, in the biggest rivalry in college football, in the coach's second year when they should have beat him in the first, and you go into Tuscaloosa and you beat Alabama. Absolutely, I'll take that one over a losing to Georgia 34-10 or something, whatever.
I bought in with Jhead on Alabama
Along
with the proximity to signing day. That got me.
Yeah. See, and I forgot Auburn, Georgia was playing in like freaking July now, right?
Yeah, I did until Cole started talking. I was like, wait a minute, that's in the middle of the freaking season now. Before I'd have said either or. It didn't matter.
Yeah, me too.
In November.
Just to play devil's advocate, I guess the argument for Georgia would be if you don't get them this year on the road, you're looking at almost 20 years since your last win in Athens.
Are you serious?
We haven't won since 2005.
It's the new Baton Rouge.
Day in the morning.
It's the new Red Stick.
My only argument for Georgia would be for 2024 at least right now, we're in more races for top tier talent with that.
Yeah.
It looks better on paper.
Maybe, but if you're talking about who are the two biggest statement wins in recruiting you can get right now, and I think that's Quay Russaw and James Smith.
Yeah.
I mean, to me,
Anyways,
that's, yeah. With how that's boiling down in recruiting, I think it's, Alabama is probably pushing harder for those two than Georgia at this point because of who's on the board right now. And Bama has lost some line of scrimmage recruiting battles, 100%.
That's a good question, though, Tiger.
Anyways, thanks for your time to answer my question, guys.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you calling in, big dog. Not a bad little hypothetical there, man.
That was a good one. Yep. That was a very good one.
You got one more caller on the line. 256. You're live. Who's calling in? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Matt. I'm from Calhoun County, Alabama.
All right. Oh,
I'm
man.
Man 3424 online.
Tiger 3424.
Music Man.
Oh,
Music Man.
Yeah, what's up?
Yes.
What's going on, fellas?
Nothing much, brother.
Matt.
How about you?
Whereabouts you from in Calhoun County?
I live in Weaver, Alabama.
Okay. As a former Jacksonville State Gamecock, I'm very familiar. Weaver used to have some
Yeah, I'm an
damn
old
good wrestling
high
teams,
school
man.
graduate.
Yeah. Weaver used to be really good at wrestling.
I just wanted to call in and tell you guys how much I love the show, and I would much rather listen to the show than read the board because sometimes the board just pisses me off.
Me too. I have to, Music Man. You don't have to.
But I appreciate all the kind words you guys have given me. Today was the first day of school for my daughter, and a friend of mine called and offered me any ticket I want to out of his season tickets to go see the Tigers this year so she can go to her first Auburn game. And
nice.
I just appreciate all the kindness that people have been doing for us here lately. It's been a really wonderful thing, I think.
Well, Music Man, we appreciate you sharing your story with us, man, on the corner. Everybody, I'm sure everybody knows kind of, but we're talking about Auburn Live Message Board on the corner. Music Man's been sharing, keeping us posted on with his daughter. So glad to hear everything's going well, man.
Strange and something crazy, but she's doing so much better now, and it's really been a humbling experience for me. But the only question I have about football is everybody's fussing, of course, online about how we're missing out on all these recruits. I'm kind of figuring, especially on the O-line, that we would more than likely go to the JUCO route to fill some of these O-line spots next year. Would we not?
100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think Keith has reported that as well a few times. That was a possibility.
I would think possibility-wise, multiple JUCOs, multiple transfers, multiple high school guys, all three levels.
Yeah.
Layered depth, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, first things first, though, get some of these high school guys.
Very rarely does a freshman ever start on the line anywhere in the SEC anyway. So
I hope not.
I think Lee Zimba might be the last one we had.
Chaz Ramsey,
like that
same year.
Yeah, there was two of them. Wasn't it? Did
Ryan Pugh as well.
Ryan Pugh and Chaz. Yeah.
There were three true freshmen.
Ryan Pugh, sure enough.
Man, I remember Glenn
I
Dorsey.
just wanted to say I appreciate the show and I appreciate you guys and all the work you do. And just keep it coming, brother. That's all I got to say.
Appreciate you, Music Man. Hey,
Yes, sir.
Matt, keep us posted, big dog.
Yeah, you and I thought you and my.
I will, brother. September 14th is our court date, and hopefully everything will be totally official by then.
Good deal, man. Appreciate your music. Good fella right there.
Yes, no doubt.
Good fella. So here's some questions. Okay, JP wants to know any Jair Hill news. Jair Hill is an athlete from Illinois, I believe, who Auburn offered back in May.
Yep.
And he's probably a guy. Cole, do you have anything on new on him? Otherwise, I need to put him on my call list.
Yeah, he was on campus the Thursday before Big Cat.
Damn. I was flying that day.
Yeah, he came in and left that same day, and I don't know if he went anywhere else. I've been trying to get up with him. I haven't been able to, but Corner. Auburn likes him at corner right
Okay.
now. He's told me that before when they offered him. He did talk with me then and told me they liked him at corner. And, I thought it was interesting the timing of him coming in, and I think he may try to get to a game. I'm going to catch up with him soon, so we'll learn more about him.
Who was that other person I'm trying to think of? While I was gone, Auburn offered Alex Sanford, who we talked about on the last show. I don't know if y'all remember that, but Alex Sanford, the Oxford, Mississippi linebacker, committed to Arkansas. He has since set up an official visit to Auburn for the Arkansas weekend. Marcellus Pulliam's going to come in for the Missouri game.
Yep.
Another official. Oh, Ashley Williams told me last night he's coming to the LSU game. And I told somebody on the board the other day, it's kind of going to be the month of the setting up visits, official visits now.
Yeah.
And which is one of my favorite months, man, because you got football starting and you've got these official visits locked in. Some of these visits have already taken place, or a lot of these recruits have already visited back in June.
Yeah.
But still, getting to games, even unofficial visits, are always fun to track. TJ coming in here. Pretty little thing. Has Auburn been in communication with Keon Brown? I'm glad you asked that, TJ, because I messaged with him last night. Keith was actually the one who gave us a heads up on this Oklahoma wide receiver coach stepping down, Gundy, I believe. And Keon Brown is a 4-star wide receiver committed to Oklahoma from Florida. Auburn was on him. He was actually going to come in for an official visit Connor Stroh weekend back in late May. He was going to come in for an official
first
visit.
weekend that they were having.
Yeah, their first week. He didn't make it and went to Oklahoma, earned an offer that next week, I think, and committed like 3 days later. But I talked to Keon, or messaged with him last night. Auburn is definitely pushing here, still in the mix, still recruiting him, and he is very likely to take an official visit to Auburn during the fall. Definitely somebody to keep an eye on.
Yeah,
I wouldn't put him on the flip watch or anything yet, but get him on campus and go from there. Kind of like with excuse me. Well, you said Jair Hill had come on unofficial.
Yeah, he did.
I was going to compare the two, but that's actually incomparable. So, changing the subject here, Blake Robinson, Jhead, you still feel JC Hart to Auburn?
Yeah, he said trending away from Auburn.
Never thought he was trending away. I've always thought he's been trending to Auburn as far as that's concerned. So I apologize if there's a discrepancy there, Blake, but no, I feel pretty good about JC coming to Auburn right now. Obviously, Vanderbilt, Mississippi State, and UCF are in his Final Four. I don't think you can ever count your chickens before they hatch, or you don't want to anyway, but I do feel good about where we stand with JC at this point.
And you know what? People on the board are not going to get crazy excited about a guy like JC Hart, but he's one of those guys where if you don't get him, then freaking chaos, dude. They'll burn that bitch down.
Over 6 foot, right in your backyard, running 4 threes at camps. I mean, kind of a no-brainer,
I think he's like 6'2", 6'3". Somebody asked the other day about Ethan Nation. I looked him up. He's like 5'10" with cleats on. Yeah. And we've seen Auburn going after these taller corners, and JC Hart fits that bill so good. I think Auburn. We can talk about this. Blake Gibson. What's his name? Not Brandon Gibson. He was the 4-star wide receiver from.
Oh, you talking about Ricky Gibson?
Ricky Gibson, 4-star cornerback from, I think, Trussville.
Yeah, Hewitt Trussville.
Going to decide. It looks like Tennessee. I believe Chad Simmons reported. Auburn kind of got in there late. He was another guy I would at least keep an eye on. Auburn's going to try to get in the mix with him. Offered him a couple of weeks ago, or last week maybe. And but as of now, he looks like he's trending towards Tennessee. JP's back. He wants to know the 5 main targets on the offensive and defensive line, not counting edge. Okay. Hey, I got something else for you, man. Go ahead, Jhead. Give me 2 or 3 guys. Cole, give me 2 or 3 guys. I'll give you 2 or 3 guys.
On the offensive line, we'll go with Janoris Wilson, number 1 on my list. I'm not taking Connor Lew off my list. I think he's still a target as far as that's concerned.
Yep.
And then I'm going to go with DJ Chester, top target.
He's still definitely in there. I'd say Clay Whedon is still definitely somebody to keep tabs on that's committed to Michigan State right now.
Ian Jaffrard.
Ian Jeffrard, TJ Johnson that visited for Big Cat Weekend. We're still tracking him. I would say, even though Jatavius Shivers committed to South Carolina, I don't think they're going to stop recruiting him either.
Tyler Johnson.
Yeah, Tyler Johnson.
Tyler Johnson, defensive line. Well, I got you a new name, man. And Cole Keith actually brought this to my attention. Cole, you might have been on there as well. Jamarion
Harkless. Yeah.
He is he's a 3-star guy from Kentucky. He was committed to Illinois. He backed off that commitment today. And Auburn has been in pursuit and continues to be in pursuit. So he is another guy we put on the D-line board. Jamarion Harkless, big defensive tackle. And staying with tackles,
You still got Derek Hunter on there, the JUCO.
Derek Hunter. Did he make it to Big Cat?
He did not.
Shit.
Couldn't find a ride.
Well.
And I wouldn't bank on it, but obviously James Smith is a major target on the defensive line. You know what I mean?
Sure. It's going to take a lot to get him. But I really feel like Auburn will be invested in both of those guys. I feel like NIL is obviously going to be a big for any 5-star guy like that, especially a defensive lineman. Man, if there are 2 guys to go in this class, 3, if you want to throw Jaleel Hurley in there, it's James Smith and Quay Rousseau. You do not let NIL lose that for you, in my opinion. No. Right. If they want to pick Alabama, if they want to pick Georgia, that's fine, but don't let it be because of the money.
Yes.
And I'd say the same thing for the best 2 offensive tackles you could find too, but what do I know? I'm trying to pull up the offer sheet on the defensive line because I'm sure we're forgetting some folks. I mean, I know a lot of them are committed.
The big from North Carolina, what's his name? The one that took
Jamal Jerry. David Hobbs.
David Hobbs, that's the one. Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of. Now, I know he just worked out for Bama and really shot up their list, and Georgia as well. So
Darren Reed is committed to LSU, but he's another one too. They're going to keep working on get him in for a game.
I thought Auburn was in a better position with TJ Searcy back
maybe
in the day.
Jordan Hall from Jacksonville, Florida is another guy.
Maybe.
Yeah, that was.
The problem is that most of these guys are committed to schools that I just don't see Auburn flipping from. Like, Sydney Mitchell to Texas and Deron Reed to LSU. Now, I'm going to tell you something now. I'm not sold LSU is not going to have a very, very below average season here. And if that happens and Auburn has an above average season, who knows what can happen.
Well, it's kind of a weird situation for LSU because Brian Kelly really hadn't had any losing seasons either. So he comes in there and the fit seems weird, I guess, but man, I don't know. I mean, he's won. He won at Notre Dame. Most winningest coach at Notre Dame, right?
Most winningest coach at Notre Dame.
That's wild when you think about with the coaches they've had.
I think Vegas has their win total at 5.5, same as Auburn, if I'm not mistaken.
I was about to say that. It's like at 5.5 or 6. Auburn and LSU are like the lowest in that SEC outside of like Vandy.
That puts some real importance on that game in Jordan Hare.
Good heaven.
Are you telling me that Mississippi State, Ole Miss both have win totals?
Arkansas,
Kentucky.
State, I don't buy, dude. I don't buy Ole Miss. Mississippi State, I buy it. I mean, their defensive front is nasty. They've got quarterback that 100% can operate within that system. I mean, I think they're a team that's a legitimate 8, maybe 9 win type team. I honestly believe that.
Yeah,
there's.
You're not sold on Arkansas.
No, I mean. I think they're good, but I think they're an 8-win team tops. You know what I mean? I just don't.
They're dangerous. That's for sure.
They're dangerous, but I don't see them as the kind of team that has the talent and depth to do any more than 8 wins in the SEC this year.
I agree.
I just don't see it.
Not with their schedule.
For some reason, everyone's high on Florida too and Tennessee just due to quarterback. Like one of the Pro Football Focus guys put Anthony Richardson as the #1 quarterback in next year's draft over Stroud and Young.
All right.
And said Hendon Hooker would be a top 10 pick.
Let him throw more touchdowns and interceptions. You know what I mean? This season, and then we'll talk. And I'll tell you one other thing, dude. What was the other team? Tennessee. All right.
Yeah.
Tennessee was fantastic on offense last year. I mean, phenomenal.
Yep.
They won 6 games. How much better can they be? Because their defense is garbage. I mean, hot garbage. Okay. If there any Tennessee fan that's watching this, call on in, man, because I want to debate this.
Hey,
dude.
Kevin.
Depth
Hey,
that you
Kevin.
got.
Yeah, that's not me talking, big dog.
Yeah, that's me talking. Your defense is terrible. Okay, so unless your offense is monumentally better, and I don't know how much better it can honestly be than what they did last year, you're not winning more than 7 games. Tennessee's not back. You're not winning the Natty. You're not beating Georgia. Get out of here, man.
And you know, of all the teams in the East that Auburn needs to be really good continuously, is Tennessee.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Auburn needs another team to give Alabama a game. And with that being their permanent cross division opponent, Auburn needs Tennessee to be good. And they haven't been.
No.
It was Florida that gave Alabama a game last year.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough.
We got a caller here. 205. You're live. Who are we talking to? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is AUJHW calling here from Birmingham, Alabama. How are y'all doing tonight?
Very good, man. Very good.
AUHW?
AUJHW.
AUJHW. Yeah.
That's what I said.
So I had a question for you guys. I'm really interested in these hires Harson's making and these NFL guys, hiring the Cowboy Scout. And I was interested. I've heard a lot of positivity about that, but I also heard one of your former colleagues, Jeffrey, guy you worked with, say that he thought this was a mistake, that scouting guys that are 22, 23 years old in the NFL are not the same as scouting 15 or 16-year-olds. And he said give him Philip Blawley all day long as opposed to somebody from the NFL. So I want to get you guys comment on that because I thought it was an interesting point. And also, these guys are hiring from the NFL. Do y'all think that these are going to help more with high school kids or the portal? Where do y'all think Harsin is seeing this? And I'll hang up and let you guys listen. Thanks, man.
Appreciate you, JSW. Jhead, this is your expertise.
Yeah. So, and I heard, listen, I want to start this off by saying I have the utmost respect for Brian Matthews. He's the person that made that comment.
What was the comment? I love B-Matt.
Yeah, it was that he has questions or concerns with regard to bringing in NFL guys to evaluate 15 and 16 15 and 16-year-old kids, versus grown men. That it's a different game. To me, and I understand what he's saying, and from a connection piece, I think he's right, because you're talking about a high school coach that knows the entire state of Alabama. He can call every Tom, Dick, and Harry that's his coaching friend to get the 411 on any kid, okay? So from that point, I kind of understand his argument. From an actual evaluation standpoint, if you can spot talent at the highest level, you can spot talent in high school, okay? And I 110% think it's going to speed up our portal evaluations because now you have more hands on deck. Before, in the actual evaluation room, I think we had 3 guys who were actually handling that. Well, now you've doubled that, okay? They're going to have 2 separate teams set up, one that's actually going to be just focusing on high school talent, one that's going to be focusing on portal talent. They'll probably have some bleed over there until the portal starts to heat up, so that you have more hands on deck as far as evaluating your current commitment list and other prospects out there while they get up to speed. But to me, having somebody that's done it at the highest level, somebody that's been in a situation where monetary value is considered 24/7 in this NIL world.
Yep.
It's just invaluable experience as far as being able to assess that talent and be able to make a recommendation on dollar value.
That's it. The value. Now, I agree with B-Matt. And I disagree with B-Man. I agree with B-Man. I'll take Philip Lawley all day long as a talent evaluator, all fucking day long. Love Philip Lawley. He is more than proven, especially in the state of Alabama, dude. You want some defensive backs, he'll go find you some defensive backs, and they'll be rated 2 stars and 3 stars and NRs. And, dude, they can play.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the hiring the guy, I don't see how that's a bad thing. And I agree with you, Jhead. These guys have grown up, made their career profession out of valuing players. This is how much this guy's worth. This is how much this guy's worth. And that's exactly what Auburn and the NIL absolutely must have. And the guys with the money need somebody that they trust and respect as a talent evaluator and a value evaluator to say, hey, fellas, this guy right over here, whatever it costs, he's worth it.
It credentials what Coach Harson's asking for, right? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, there you go.
It gives validity to what he's asking for.
There you go. Perfectly said. Good question, though, man.
Yeah, very good question.
All right, we got one more caller here. 256, you're live. Who we talking to? Where you calling from?
Ranger 361, Scottsboro.
Ranger.
How raw is Imba, and do you think Jones and Imba are a better combination on the inside?
Cole, you've seen these guys a couple times.
Yeah, man. Both are just massive. I mean, they're not mirror images of each other, though. They are the same height, but I would say that Jason Jones, maybe, I don't know, they're both just kind of tall and slender at the same time, but also got some weight behind them too. And I think Jeffrey Imba's got a little ways to go right now. I think Jason Jones is, I mean, I saw him out there being a vocal leader a couple times when it was real hot the other day and guys were struggling. He was going, let's go, guys, pick it up. I mean, he's doing that kind of thing. And I was like, okay, well, interesting. That's not what I expected. That's not the guy I expected to be seeing doing that. He just transferred in from Oregon. So I don't know. I think both of those guys, and I was just looking through the D-line depth in general. I mean, the guys that played behind your main guys, Marcus Harris, Colby Wooden, Derek Hall, if you're counting edges too, there weren't many like viable backups. I mean, you had some guys come in and help out, but not come in and make real big plays. And if you have Jeffrey Emma coming in behind, if you have Zykevis Walker coming in behind, Jason Jones is sort of in that front spot, I don't know. I think the depth and the outlook for the D-line looks a little bit better than last year right now.
Jhead, do you think Jeffrey Emba, what do you think his contribution level is going to be when Georgia rolls around?
So I think he's a guy that could be cracking the 2 deep at that point. Right now,
me too.
I agree with Cole that he's got a lot to learn. Specifically, he gets a little bit high right now with his pad level. He's going to need to learn to play with more lean, more leverage, utilize his hands a little bit better. He's got elite talent and elite skill.
Yeah.
But I don't think from a technique standpoint he's there just yet. And it's
conditioning too. He was out in the spring. That's just part of being out with an injury. You got to get back in shape. It's just, and it's 100 degrees and you're in pads and you hadn't been in pads in a whole year. So,
and how smart was it to pick up Morris Joseph, to fill in behind?
Heard rave reviews about him today.
Right. To pick him up as a bridge. So in the off chance Imba's not ready, you've got a guy that's had college snaps, that's had double-digit sacks in his career, that can come in behind Colby Wooden, can come in behind Marcus Harris, and give you a bona fide guy that knows how to make plays. We have a legitimate now. So it knows you've obviously got Jason Jones. Mm-hmm. You've got Marquise Burks probably backing him up with who's the converted offensive lineman?
Jeremiah Wright,
who may pass Marquise Burks by the end of the season. He's another guy. Imba and him are the two that I'm watching that could potentially be in the 2 deep by the time we get to Georgia. I think those guys have the body type and the frame of what we're looking for in our defensive line.
Yeah.
Hey, Ranger, we appreciate you, big dog. I got some people up in Scottsboro.
Jackson County.
That's right.
Isn't that Pat Nick's old territory? What he
sure is.
For a minute?
He did. And what was the Aaliyah? What was the running back from? Was it Scottsboro? No, he was North Jackson. I'm thinking of it was North Jackson. Blake Schrader and
no, that's Gadsden City.
Remember who did I just say? Blake Schrader. I mean, that's old school, dude. He's probably a grandpa by now.
No, Schrader's a coach at UAB now.
Get out of town.
Yeah, he's the defensive backs coach up there.
Wow. Well, there was a running back there. I can't remember. Anyway, Ranger, we appreciate you, big dog. Good question, man.
We got one more caller. Caller, we'll get right to you. I want to get to this comment because apparently I've missed his comment the past 2 live streams, so we'll address it right now.
G-Law wants to know, Zach, hell, you've been dodging my question for. Kyle Breen, Ingrid Passion with, he silently let me know we've moved on. Listen, here's what Justin told me today, and here's why, Gregory. As a Jeffrey, I'm going to call you Gregory. Justin told me today he's watching the wide receivers, right? He goes, man, there's a lot of short guys out here. And that's exactly why Kai Preen is kind of down the board right now.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, we talked about this, I think maybe way back in the day. But Kai Preen, the best chance he has at ending up at Auburn is Auburn utilizing him more as a running back. As their second running back. And listen, this was last fall. I remember talking after the game, and they said, Cole, maybe it was after spring or something. It wasn't last fall. Somebody told us, who's the guy from Tennessee who kind of had the wide receiver body but plays in the NFL now? Cordell Patterson.
Cordell Patterson. Yeah.
Now, I don't know the size, but as far as the position and skill set, that's who they compared him to.
Yeah, just versatile.
Versatile guy who could play running back. And I really feel like the best chance of Kai Preen ending up at Auburn is as a running back, because Auburn's got too many 6 foot and under wide receivers. They've got to have those outside guys. And you've already taken Carmelo English, who's 6'1", maybe with cleats on. He's not – I mean, I don't look at him and go, oh, that's the big outside, Prashay Rodriguez or anybody like that. So that's to me, and as far as I know, that's kind of where the Kai Preen and Auburn's interest in him stand. And it kind of sucks because Trevon Reed has a fantastic relationship with this kid going way back to like Pee Wee. Yeah. So if Auburn really wanted him and could find a way to use him or find a spot for him, that's why I think there was a lot of optimism on Auburn's side back in the spring, especially for me. I had Kai Preen in this class, no doubt, back in March.
But think about all the slotters. AJ, Worsham,
Dawson,
Fair.
Yeah, and they're all young guys too, guys that are going to be around for a minute. So
Coy Moore could play in the slot.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, you have got a ton of slot guys.
Just don't. And no matter how big the class is, man, it's tough to take another one.
It is.
Yeah. If you can take another lineman or another linebacker.
Especially with the port. I mean, that's the thing that we have to remember too. I mean, they probably want to take more guys out of the portal, depending on, I mean, if there's so many guys out there they consider not the right fit or developmental, then they go, I'm just not I'm gonna hold out here. I'm gonna see what we got.
Brother, I took some heat on the board today for saying just that. I promise you.
Well, I mean, you're gonna get it one way or another. So
yeah, man.
That's right. Well, I've still got him locked in for the Penn State official visit. Visit for the Penn State game. He's a guy. Maybe come December, Auburn goes, "Hey, man, we got a best available slot left."
Yeah.
So I'm not putting him out of the class at all. I'm just not putting him in it. If that makes sense. Yes. I think there's still a chance he could end up at Auburn. Right. I think some things are going to have to happen, but certainly the guy I'm going to continue to call and cover.
Yeah.
Hope that satisfies you, Gregory.
Yeah, one more caller here. 205, you're live. Who are we talking to? Where are you calling from?
Well, guys, when I heard one caller waiting, I got really excited. And it took a little while, but I'm still here. It's memes again. What's going on, guys?
Memes, you little son of a bitch. I've been looking for you.
I'm assuming that was Jeffrey that said that.
Yeah, man.
I saw that bunker rumor thread post too, and I just not real. It's all cap. Malicious people saying malicious things out there trying to break us apart, and none of it.
Oh boy.
Coach Harsin knows all about that, man. I promise you.
Hold on, man. Let me give you a little backstory on my hatred for memes right now. So this girl Brandy, who I have no idea, she was on Twitter. So somebody had posted that, I don't know who it was. It was like Gerald Ford is down to. No, it was Jalen Green. It was the guy Auburn had been in the mix for, right? And she posted, I'm here on the streets. That's down to Arkansas and Florida. And I was like, well, shit, man. So I replied in the tweet publicly, Debbie Downer, right? Well, I saw Arkansas in Florida or whatever the hell the school, Arkansas and Gonzaga. And I thought, well, damn, dude, being a Debbie Downer. Well, I come to find out, and she posted another or replied to me, and it was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I was like, what's going on here? And I looked, and she had written Auburn and Gonzaga. So my Debbie Downer tweet had absolutely nothing going on, right? I mean, it was dumb. So I felt like a fucking idiot. And so I slid into her DMs, and I was like, hey, I just want you to know that this is what happened. I thought you were. I read Arkansas and Gonzaga, Debbie Downer, and she said, yeah, well, I sent that to Memes. I sent it to Memes earlier, asking if he knew what it meant, and he replied with, no idea. Maybe it's boomer humor. Boomer.
Oh man.
Boomer.
I'm impressed with how well you remember that story.
Listen, I have had this thing marked down for 2. I was going on your ass on the Shrivel Pod 2 weeks, and I forgot. So I'm so glad you called in to remind me. Bastard.
I mean, I figured we have to face the fire here, but that's no boomer memory. I mean, that's extremely photographic.
That's Gen X, son.
But yeah, I mean, Brandy, I don't remember it that way. I'll just say that. So we'll just, like I think the Bill Clinton meme of I did not call Jeffrey Lee a boomer is that's going to be my official stance on this.
That's good.
What my lawyer told me to say.
Yeah.
We're gonna
written statement.
We're gonna get with it.
Good stuff. Well, I had to get that off my chest.
I knew I had to face the fire eventually.
Well, you handled it well, so we can move on. But I won't forget it.
Now, yeah, I do want to say it's just so weird seeing Cole not talking to me in front of a river.
No, right?
I mean, I could bring it back. It's right down the road.
What the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm wondering when I see Cole's face, there's like a body of water.
Yeah, my backdrop was a river for.
Yeah, you remember he was at the Alabama River for like a hot minute.
Yeah, I was in between a move. In between a move there, I had to find. I was living in a van down by the river and just had to post up there, and so.
Respect.
Just looking
for like a title of a country song, living in a van down by the river.
That's right.
Dude, Memes, you're too young to even know what that means.
An SNL skit, baby.
Holy shit, dude. You ain't got any hair on your peaches, do you?
I've been getting in too many trouble for making age references, so I'm going to plead the fifth on it.
Okay. Well played, brother. Well played.
Oh, me.
I don't want to get my account suspended.
No, well. Do you have anything Auburn football related?
Or basketball.
Or basketball.
I always do. I mean, come on now. We can pull some things out of the hat now. I mean, I'm not just calling to confess my sins. But I do have one question for football, and we can talk some basketball. That's something I'm much better at talking about than football. But because the hot rumor on the street was they're trying to go to about game one, have about 9 guys already committed in the class. There's all these silent commits and this and that, and guys, all the hugabaloo out there. Y'all think we're going to be jumping at 9 by kickoff game one?
No.
No. I think we'll be jumping at 7 come game one.
I think J.C. Hart. I don't have anybody after that. No, hell, but I didn't have Wilkie Denard or Ashley Williams either.
I know. So it happened fast.
Listen,
all right, well, sweet. Well, that's great. That's great news.
Well, we said 6 to 8 to be fair.
I said 8 to 10. So
I said 5 to 7.
I'm the one that got all.
Fellas, I'm trying to include you here, man.
You're trying to say, man.
We all said 6 to 8.
Yeah, I did. I definitely said 8. What's the number after that? We debated.
I've been on the whole, anything we can do just to get some positive momentum and good news coming along. And I was hoping a little bit more to come out of Big Cat. No, not that. Like I was thinking out of the week after, it'll still be something. Nope. Maybe I'm just a pessimist here. I hadn't heard a whole lot out of fall camp, even though we're like day 2 or 3. I mean, just way too impatient. That's like they got to get those headlines back. And I've been saying that all along. It's just the baby steps for momentum. And you know how these people are in the eye of the storm. They're going to get restless. It's a walking through a minefield right now. And Auburn basketball did help calm me down, but that's not till November, so I'm getting my blood pressure up again.
Like as far as I had Connor Lew in this class a week ago.
Yeah,
and it was it was done deal. That one stung. We talked a little bit about him earlier. That one, was a big. It wasn't a miss, but they certainly missed out on it. Yeah. Basketball, Jhead. Did you watch any?
I watched a ton.
Zach, did you watch some?
Mm-hmm.
Did you?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, man, what a trip for those guys, right?
Yeah.
Just forget the basketball.
If you followed Jay Billis on Twitter or any of the players that, Dylan Cardwell, anybody of that nature, to see what they were able to experience, the culture that they were able to take in and are able to take back with them. That in and of itself, was monumental for that group as far as bringing them together as a group, and playing as a team is as important in basketball. It is the ultimate team game. Granted, you can have guys that can take over games one-on-one. Like Jordan and Black Mamba and LeBron have proved that over time. Okay. And you got to have a guy that can go get it when you need to get a bucket. But being able to play as a cohesive unit and having trust and faith in one another is going to be monumental for this team moving forward. I firmly believe that. And seeing competition this early and being able to get a feel for what these young guys are going to do, these transfers like Jhead Broome, handful of others, what they do against legitimate competition. And that was, you're playing some pros. It wasn't like the first game, obviously, that was like playing me and Cole out there. I'm not going to pretend like that was some monumental feat. That was a good high school team.
We might have done better, Jay.
With Cole in the post down there, Jeffrey at the wing, we would have been all right. But those last two games, you're playing G League guys. You're playing guys that have been pros over in Israel. You're playing an NBA player. You were facing some top flight competition and guys that have played together over years. So the floor spacing was elite from what you were seeing. The ball movement was significantly better than anything you're going to face in the first half of your season. So you're just that much further ahead of the curve and understanding your strengths and weaknesses. We didn't play one consistent lineup the entire time. It's not like we went out there to win. We went out there to develop players and figure out who can do what, and to win 2 or 3 against that competition was really good.
Who are some of the guys that you just have to talk about?
Broome. That kid is going to be a stud, and we knew he was. At his previous school, he was doing his thing, but everyone wondered, could he bring it to the SEC? Could he bring it to this Auburn team, and how would he fit into Bruce's system? Because when we think of Bruce's system, we think of the Jared Harpers, or whoever. But for me, I think Broome, I believe he had a double-double every game, if I'm not mistaken.
Close to it.
Or if it was 2 of the 3 games. But to me, I think he's going to be a great replacement at that 4 spot. Dylan Cardwell really surprised me too. I think seeing him in that system, he's a lot more athletic than he was last year. Sometimes I felt like he got caught up against very athletic teams. You look at Miami, they embarrassed us. They put a small lineup out there and we couldn't hang. So Cardwell looked like he can move a lot better. And I thought the guard play was okay. I still think we turned the ball over too much. But this is still, exhibition play in August. We have time to fix that. But like Jay has said, this is big because we have 3 games that no other team in the country has to kind of measure ourselves of where we are, get that chemistry going. And the biggest thing for Bruce is being able to fit his system around the team he has. And now he has 3 games of information on what he needs to do going into the season to put this team in the best position to compete for another SEC championship.
Yep. Accentuate the strengths and hide the weaknesses. That's what this allowed him to do better than anything. And just to get a feel for his personnel. And look, I think you got to talk about Chance Westry. I think you got to talk about our big, and I actually think Jhead is going to play the 5. I don't think he's going to play the 4. But Jeffrey, you pronounce his name significantly better than I do. Who's our big 4 man that we picked up?
Yuan
Trehor.
Yeah, Trehor.
Okay. Look, the sky's the limit for him as far as that's concerned. And I was actually encouraged by what Al Flanagan showed. Okay, I know he had a terrible last game, but I thought the athleticism was there. I thought, You know what I mean? The speed, the quickness, the ability to cut, the decision-making still needs to improve some, but I think that will come as the season progresses and he starts to get a feel for playing basketball again at full strength.
I'm glad we got to see ourselves in clutch situations too. That last game, we had chances to win it. I'm really glad that we got to see how we performed in those type of situations, because with how good the SEC is going to be this year, we're going to have to be able to win close games. And that's something that our team has been able to do in previous seasons. So to have that information on what it's going to feel like, what we need to do, who can we trust in those moments is really important going into the season.
I agree. And watching Wendell put some guys in a blender, I mean, I'm talking about legit pros crossing them up. It means I know you're a win guy, okay? So if you're still there, feel free to chime in, my man. But,
I'm here. I'm ready.
But go ahead. What were your impressions? Means I know that you're as avid a basketball fan as there is an educated basketball fan on top of that. So I would love to get your take as far as what you saw.
Well, yeah, no, I actually made a what I thought was actually two pretty decent posts on the corner. I'm just, if you don't mind typos and absurd run-on sentences, I think I might be able to take Jay Phillips' job, but hopefully he's not listening.
Hey.
Joke. It's a joke.
I know, brother. I know.
You're just building enemies, dude.
I know. I'm over here. Yeah, I'm over here calling people boomers and names, stealing jobs. Like, you gotta block my number for too long. But yeah, I mean, I put in those two summaries on there, and the third one was most in depth. And I actually I was comparing last season's stats with the stats of these three games, trying to get a little bit of a sample size. And the biggest thing that I kind of took away from this was by far just the 3-point shooting. Yeah. And if you saw this post, sorry to regurgitate some of this for some of the people watching the live show. Maybe get a little information out of this. I'll just sum this up in a little bit longer post. But generally speaking here, the 3-point shooting last season was around 32%. Mm-hmm. And it has not been great the past few seasons prior. In Israel, the team shot 27% from three, 20 of 73. KD was 31.8. Wendell was 2 for 14 at 14%, really bad.
Damn.
Zep was 4 for 6, 16, so very efficient, and Flan was 2 for 8. So you really got a circle there. KD last season was 29%, and Wendell was about 31.7. Zep was 36.6. Flan was 20.5%. So Zep can be where he's at. I think Zep's 35% floor as long as it's really efficient. KD, I think, needs to be around 32%. Wendell, I would love Wendell to be 35 plus from the three. And, we can't have Flan anywhere in the 20s shooting three if we're going to want to have a decent season. I do hope this team doesn't take as much volume as they had priorly. I just don't think they've got the shooters. If they haven't got it yet, I just don't know if it's going to be there. And we need to kind of keep the percentage that we're at. We cannot be lower than 32 or we're going to have a rough year. But that's the big thing for me. I think everything down low with what Broom, Traore bringing, and really, I know the stats weren't there for Flan. Again, I just dove deep in these stats. It was very hard to get stats for this game. But if Flan's movement looked back, his confidence looked back, if he can kind of get the shot back to where it was, defensively, not even they were just playing scrap ball and they were locked down. So once they really get the defense down and get that chemistry, not even sweating that for a second, they can't be turning the balls over as far as just throwing bricks up there. Rebounding looks good. And honestly, the biggest thing that was kind of overlooked, now kind of a weird thing to pull, but I mean, the free throw shooting was really well, especially in that big game. And that was something that wasn't great, but not bad last year. Definitely was room for improvement with the free throw shooting. So if they can just inch everything last year and make it just a little bit better, I think this team's going to have a pretty high floor. But I mean, it's the big thing we got to circle here is just the guys shooting deep, and hopefully more options down low will have them more open looks. But KD and Wendell both had some pretty open threes and just threw some bricks up there. So yeah, that was my that was my synopsis on. I mean, Wendell especially, we need him. I loved his movement. His ball movement was good. I love how he's making drives and drawing fouls, something he didn't do as much last year. But he cannot go into his third year playing college basketball and have his 3-point shooting percentage drop consecutively each year.
Now, let me ask you something, and I don't want to cut anybody else off here, Memes, but if this were an actual season, the rotations would probably be significantly different, right? And the green light to shoot some of those shots would be significantly different. So if KD is as cold as he is in that last game, my guess is he's probably not in the mix at that point. We are deeper at the guard spot this year than we were last year. And then to me, the key probably is, can Westry give you time at the three if Flan's off? And I honestly believe that he can. I think I see that versatility in his game. What do you think?
So I've been a Chris Moore truther at the three. I think Chris, he looked. I know a lot of people about Cardwell, but I mean, I thought Moore's relief minutes were very good. He was shot very efficiently, and he was very balanced on defense as well, and getting blocks and rebounds and everything you'd want. He led the team in plus minus through the entire exchange. So I mean, not that Chris Moore's going to be your starting three, but I think he could. He seems like he's much more improved, and I think gives you a much higher floor than what Cambridge gave you last year.
Right.
Hopefully, he won't be. I mean, Cambridge was very hot and cold. I mean, we all know that. So I think that's an aspect too, and I agree with you on Westry. I mean, I think he's got. I mean, he showed how very raw he was, and obviously the last game, once he was playing some big boy ball. I mean, the youth in this game was most definitely highlighted, as we'll say. Because his minutes got cut significantly compared to some of the prior games that he played. But I think hopefully having his balance in there and just being a little bit more versatile with his size and ways to score. But KD's minutes were KD, Zepp, and Wendell. Wendell played that final game 24 and a half minutes. Zepp and KD each played right almost at 20. So the three guards are fairly balanced. Now Westry's was around just under 16. But, the previous game where Wendell struggled a lot, was it the first game, I think, where he was just like, big yikes. I mean, he played 11 minutes that first game. And I know they were trying to let people get some more time, and I think he also had gotten hurt a little bit.
Got his ankle rolled, I think.
Half, but,
yeah.
I mean, I agree. I think the minutes, especially having Chance in there, I mean, I hope if somebody is cold, they would substitute him out. Now, KD was 2 for 12. And then 1 for 7 on the final game versus the national team. And he still got 20 minutes of playing time. So, yeah, I don't exactly know how that one's going to go down. But, I mean, it stinks because you're sitting there torn because you've won games with KD Johnson doing that. But also, in some cases, it's cost us some games. I think everybody remembers A&M oh too well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know what the solution for that. I really don't know what the solution is for that. Because, I mean, it's definitely – I mean, if you're shooting – like that in a big game, like that's not going to bode well for SEC games, especially if we're not grabbing those rebounds.
I think the ability to play Zepp at the 2 probably offsets that more this year. He almost had to exclusively play at the 1 with Wendell last year. Now you have the flexibility of playing him more at the 2 and sitting KD if he gets that level of cold. And I think that Bruce is going to have to rein him in this year. I agree with you, because when he's hot, you want him in that game. You need him in that game because he is a complete difference maker. But when he's cold and he's putting up volume shots that way, he can completely shoot you out of a game.
That's exactly right. He will shoot you out.
Yeah.
But more times than not, man, it's hard not to be a big fan of KD. Hey, Memes, before you go, man, who did you say was 4 of 6 from 3? Was it Trey Orr?
Say it one more time. Hold on, it kind of cut out on me.
Who did you say earlier was 4 of 6 from 3-point line? Didn't you have somebody 4
for 6? I got all the stats right here for the national game.
I think all of the entire trip. When you were reading the
entire trip. Hold on, let me pull that. I got all my stats here. Let me get that one yanked up here real fast.
I mean, I missed the name. Everybody else was it was devastating. But somebody was 4 for 6. Was it Trey Orr?
Zepp. That was Zepp.
Oh shit, for real?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Zepp was 4 for 6 from the 3. I mean, and like I said, and I think it was Jhead was bringing up the point about him playing more in that 2 position and not being so locked into the 1 as release time. I think that really helped Zepp's game open up. He's never going to be a selfish player, but just having the few select shots that he can get and being very efficient with those. I mean, Zep's not going to be a multiple 20-point plus a game shooter, but if he can float there between 8 and 12 shots a game that are very timely shot that mostly go in and don't result in turnovers, I mean, that's going to be if he could do that fairly consistently, would be an incredible deal for this team. Because I mean, on-ball defense, you're not getting better than Zep out there. So
No,
I agree.
yeah, I love Zep's game, and just he's got to
Me
be
too.
a tad more selfish with the ball. Because
I agree.
I mean, when he shoots it and he gets the volume up, he's normally putting them in.
I think he's probably the least talked about player. Like he doesn't get. Everybody's always talking about everybody else. It seems like Zep doesn't get a lot of airtime, and maybe that's why I like him so much. But I think I'm like you, man. I think playing the two, having played the one you got to create your own shots, man. The two you're going to get a lot more open, and he can shoot it. He just doesn't shoot it, and the numbers are there.
Like 25 years old. He's been playing basketball a long time.
Yeah, he's a boomer. Get the hell out of here, Memes.
Right. Boomer ball. He's calling that bank shot. That's what I like about it.
Yeah. And on the point, I was encouraged by some of what Trey Donaldson showed. I thought
I didn't even.
To me, Trey is poor man's Davion Mitchell, but I think athletically in a couple of years he's going to be really, really effective in Bruce's scheme.
One thing we're not talking about too, because obviously we didn't get to see him play, but I mean, let's be honest. Like this team still has Lior Berman on it.
Yeah,
and he was banged up a lot last year, but I mean, Lior's a shooter, and Hokanson posted because that guy who played ball with in Israel jumped on our space we hit after the game. And I mean, he trained with Lior in Israel. I mean, he was raving about his game. He's like, dude, Lior's a baller. And we're not even talking about walk-on development because, Lior comes in, plays 5-6 minutes a game. He can drain 6 to 8 points just in that short amount of time, just gets timely buckets. So that's not even a thing that we're even thinking about right now. Talking about that Donaldson comment made me think about that. It's like, hey, get some relief minutes. When he'd get in there, he'd always drain a three here or there, and there's a point. So one more piece to Bruce's deep level.
Yeah.
One more thing to consider moving forward. Hey, Means, we appreciate you, big dog, most of the time.
As always, you guys take it easy.
All right, big dog.
Hey, man.
Zach, do we have a last call?
That is
Sweet,
the
man.
last caller.
That was great. That was a good one to go out on, man. That was a lot of good stuff, trying to get back in the groove. And we'll be doing that moving forward. Thursday, we're going to have the Shrivel Pod. It's going to return Thursday or Friday morning. I can't remember. We'll discuss that. I think we come out with it Thursday, right?
We've been doing Thursdays.
Thursday. All right, let's keep it there if we can. We might have to make some adjustments if the practice schedule doesn't allow. I know we got player interviews Wednesday and Thursday, so something to keep it on. But we'll have it out to you Thursday or Friday, man. Y'all keep plugging into the site, man. If you're not a member of Auburn Live on 3, we've still got the freaking giveaway going. It's $1 and for an entire year, man. Get signed up, join us, man. We got a great community going on over there. You heard Music Man talking about all the support he's gotten, man. It's developing into a cool little community over there. We've got some yard dogs. We've got some female dogs. We've got a little bit of all. We're weeding out, man. But I'll tell you what, man. Listen, that's just how it is. It's the vibe right now. The season needs to start. Auburn needs to get some wins, and these attitudes will change as the narrative. So keep an eye out for Cole's practice reports, man. Him and Justin's been doing a fantastic job of covering the team in fall camp. The next few days are going to be busy with some interviews. I think assistant coaches are Wednesday. Offensive and defensive guys are coming Thursday. So a lot of good stuff coming from those assistant coaches. Again, Auburn Live on 3, $1 for an entire year. Look for us Thursday on the Shrivel Pod. We appreciate everybody tonight against the spread calling in. Brandon from Hughtown, Tiger Claws from the Emerald Coast, Matt and the Music Man calling up from Calhoun County, AUJHW from Birmingham, Rangers 361 from Scottsboro, and Memes calling in to get his discipline. JP, Blake R. Tyler Justice, she's a little hottie girl with the questions. Gregory Lawrence coming in with the Kyprine stuff. So we had a lot of good stuff, man. We appreciate everybody. We really do. We appreciate y'all listening. We appreciate y'all calling in. We appreciate y'all asking questions. Like I said, look for us Thursday. Get signed up Auburn Live on 3. For Jhead, for Cole Pinkston, hey, Zach, we appreciate you, big dog. Great job tonight, man. Awesome job always. We'll look for us later this week, man. Stay out of the left lane. See you.